born in San Leandro and attended San Jose State. And it's going to take me a little while to read these accomplishments, but you've earned every one of them, Pat. So we're certainly going to do that. Through 1995 to 2015, Pat was an LPGA Tour player, 6 times winner on the LPGA Tour, the 97 Oldsmobile, 98 Nabisco Dinosaur, which is a major, the 2000 Electrolux USA Championship, 2005 State Farm Classic, 2006 Safeway Classic, 209 MasterCard Classic. 5-time winner on the Players West Tour, 5-time player U.S. Solheim Cup team, best 12 and assistant captain for the team in 2015, 17, and 19. And as we're celebrating today, captain for the 2021 team with the event which will be held at Inverness next August in Toledo. 1995 LPGA Rookie of the Year, 2007 to 10, the LPGA Board of Directors, elected to represent the tour players on all business and strategic matters with the LPGA leadership. 209 to 11, AJGA Trader Joe's Junior Championship, hosted by Pat Hurst. Hall of Fame, 1999, San Jose State. 2012, National Golf Coaches Hall of Fame. 2013, California Golf Writers and Broadcasters Association. 2016, San Leandro Sports Hall of Fame. 2018, Northern California Golf Association Hall of Fame. And 2018, San Jose Sports Authority Hall of Fame. Wow. A couple more to go, so we're getting there. And as an amateur, the 1986 USGA Girls Champion, 1988 Big West Champion, and 1989 USGA Women's Amateur Medalist. Congratulations, Pat. That's just amazing. Well done, and thank you for your willingness to share with us today. And going to take care of questioning Pat about all those things and what's to come is our own, again, John Abendroth, Bay Area native. John is born and raised in San Francisco, former PGA Tour player, is certainly a PGA member at the time and co-founder of Celtic Golf Management in San Francisco, and was a full-time instructor for 12 years prior to founding Celtic Golf. John has been co-host of Hooked on Golf since 1994, was heard on KNBR 680, and co-host of the television version that ran from 94 to 2010 on Fox Sports Bay Area. As an advocate for junior golf, John was co-chair of the San Francisco Junior Golf Championship for 17 years and has operated several other junior golf events. In 2005, he co-founded the Hooked on Golf Foundation to benefit junior golf and helped incubate what is now known as Youth on Course. John played college golf for Weber State University in Ogden, Utah, was an NCAA All-American, and was inducted to their Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations on that, John. John serves on the Northern California PGA Board of Directors, was on the Northern California PGA Foundation Board of Directors, and was our section golf professional in 2008. John also sits on the boards of the George Archer Foundation, the Olympic Club Foundation, and the San Francisco Mayor's Women's Golf Council. He's a 50-year member of the Olympic Club, where he holds the course record of 62. Nice, John. The multiple-time winner of the club championship, junior club championship, and was vice chair of the 2012 U.S. Open. John is married to Rose Abendroth, PhD, and has 2 children, Michael and Kara. So after reading those bios, I think we have a few minutes left for the interview. So, congratulations to both of you, and just tremendous careers, all about golf and everything that you've done for us as peers and colleagues in the industry. And I'll be quiet now and turn it over to both of you. So John and Pat, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Pat, I was waiting for a moment like when Tiger Woods is being introduced on the first tee with Phil Mickelson, and Phil said, "That's about enough," with the long list. That was a great golf moment. But you do have an amazing career that you've amassed in a very quiet manner, in my opinion.
It is definitely a quiet manner, which is the way I like it. I've always been, I like to let my golf do the talking, and just sit in the background. And so this is a little bit different for me, but I'm enjoying this so far.
Well, I promised you easy questions and softballs, but I have breaking news that I know you're aware of. Yesterday, Angela Stanford, your vice captain of the 2021 Solheim Cup, made the water a little muddier by winning in her home state, her hometown, and now goes on to the US Open this week. And I'm sure, did you hear her interview after the victory?
I did, and I texted her right away and said, "What are you doing?" Because that's what she was saying on her interview. That's what I would probably say to her, and that's true.
Yeah, and basically for the folks listening, the commentator asked, "So now are you going to be a playing assistant captain?" And she did a great job of dancing around the topic, but didn't say no, and that's the complicated part. So that'll be something that I'm sure we'll hear more about down the line.
Yes, we will. Having Angela and Michelle Wee as my assistants, I knew that that might be the case. And so, when the time comes, when we get closer to the event in September, if need be, then she'll play. I want the best team out there, and I'm sure she does too. Um, like I said, when I picked them both, Michelle and Angela, I knew that might happen.
So let's kind of go back to the beginning. Len mentioned that you grew up in San Leandro, California, public golfer, and go on to win at literally every level and every type of association. Len mentioned, NCAA, USGA, LPGA, junior, junior golf, etc. And you have had an inspiration from Gloria Armstrong, who recently passed away. I was there at our annual meeting about 3 or 4 years ago where she received an award and you were there, and very inspirational just to hear that story of your relationship. Talk a little bit about that and how that sort of got you in a momentum to go on to such a great career.
Yeah, Gloria, had been my instructor for, I'd say at least 15 years. Started out playing golf at Sky West Golf Course in Hayward, and Gloria was at Lake Chabot. My stepdad plays golf all over the place, and he knew Gloria really well. So he knew her from Lake Chabot. And once I started and started playing a little bit more, wanted to get some lessons, and he hooked us up to together, and it was just something that went on for quite a while. She was there through my junior golf years, my amateur career, and then part of my professional career. Started when I stopped working with her was because of the fact that it was hard for me to travel here. I was living in Arizona or on the road playing on the LPGA tour. And Gloria was here in Oakland, and I was out on the road, and she was getting older. So that's when I moved on to a different instructor. But she was very instrumental in my career and my swing and everything, mental, believing in myself, making sure that, that my swing was always where we wanted it to be. She always had time for me. If I called her up when I was at home and said, "Hey, can I come and see you?" She would make time for me. And that's just the way Gloria was. And I can't thank her enough. And she, like I said, she paved the way for me.
You were inspired by her, and in your time as an assistant with the Solheim Cup and then working at San Jose State as an assistant coach, I read a quote where Michelle Wee felt that you were a great inspiration to her when she was on the team. And now all of a sudden, I think it's wonderful that at her state of the game and in partial retirement, that she's agreed to be an assistant captain with you. Talk about how maybe you feel that you're in a role as a role model now, and when young girls will maybe dress up at home with their moms to watch the Solheim Cup, that you're the sort of the queen bee at that point.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I was the assistant captain for Julie Inkster, who was in 15, 17, and 19. And we had done, which I'm still going to do, we did a pod system, and Michelle was part of my pod. We, as she calls me, I'm her pod mom. And it's funny because there are other girls that weren't in our pod that always kind of came into our pod. And even in 19, there was, if you look at all of our pictures, we had 5 in our pod instead of 4. But just, I don't know. I think I'm just very easy, down to earth, and I'm a good listener. But I also tell you, the way I feel, and I think that Michelle really respects that. And I think a lot of players respect that. I'm not the type that I'm not a yes man. I'm and again, I listen and take in what you have to say, but I also have my own opinions. And I think that goes a long ways with the players. That's what they want. They don't want someone just to always agree with them.
I've always felt, and I've probably used this topic too often, but I think the Bay Area and Northern California has probably some of the strongest history and tradition of golf in all the country or all the world as one pod, if you will, to use that same word. And the women's side is no less true with Hall of Famers Marion Hollins and Julie Inkster and Patty Sheehan came from Reno but played in the Bay Area. Kay Cockrell, yourself. Pretty amazing stuff. And I think part of it is that I think early on we had a great junior golf program in Northern California, maybe a little more structured and a little stronger than other parts of the country. And what are your thoughts on that and some of the folks that you followed in their footsteps?
Yeah, I think we talked a couple days ago. I played Junior Golf Association Northern California, and there was, more than a handful. There was probably 2 handfuls of us girls at that time going to Division I universities on full rides, and the competition was tough, but it was a lot of fun. We were like a family, and we all traveled together. We competed against each other. We stayed with each other. And I could, nowadays we've got, so many different tours that it's hard to really get close to each other. And we just had the best time and the best golfers, and a lot of, there's a lot of USGA winners from Northern California. And I think it has a lot to do with, when we grew up. I know Julie was a little bit older when she started playing, but overall, the competition amongst the women and the girls here is really strong.
As an assistant captain, did Julie teach any dance steps? She's been kind of known for that.
She tried. I just don't have that. I like to play golf. I do like to. I think the only time I really like to dance is when I have a couple of cocktails, and so it's yeah, it's tough to repeat what she would do like on the first tee or after she made a putt with all her dance moves, but I'll definitely have the fist pump going, but no dance moves here.
Yeah, that's great. And one of my favorite golf courses of all time, and I'm sure you remember it, she won an event, the Nabisco Snack Wheel Open, and one of the broadcasters asked her, what kind of snack wheel are you going to celebrate with? And she said, a Coors Light snack wheel.
Yeah.
So,
yes, definitely. We've had enough. We've had a few together. So
right.
That's for sure.
And talking about tradition, a little birdie just let me know that at one year, there was 6 members of the Solheim Cup in the same year with ties to Northern California. So I don't know what year it was, but that's pretty awesome.
Well, I guess, we got to think about it. It probably was Julie, Paula, Christina, Kim, myself, maybe Patty, and who else would it be? I'm missing one. So there's definitely quite a few of us Northern Californians that have been on Solheim.
Yeah, that's really, really great stuff. We're being joined by Pat Hurst, great professional and amateur golf champion, NCAA champion. And I think one that Len may have missed, you did a great job with your bio, was top female college athlete of the year in 1989. That's a strong one when you think about, tennis players and gymnasts and basketball players and runners and all the rest of it. That the old argument is golf really an athletic event, and or are we athletes? And you proved them all that year to be noted as the top athlete. That's got to be one that you're pretty proud of amongst all of them.
Yeah, definitely. But, I don't think about it that much, but when you sit down and we're talking about the bio the other day, I was sitting down and looking at it, and sometimes I just shake my head and say, really, I really did all that. And I guess, yeah, it's there, and it's, you're something that nobody can take away from you. And it's, again, the golf has been so good to me, and I'm honored with everything that it has, helped me with.
So let's focus on the Solheim Cup, and then we're going to go another, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes here, so long as I'm interesting, and then we're going to take some Q&A. Hopefully, folks will have some great questions and thoughts that we can deal with. We're in this unusual time, and I know I'm involved with the Women's U.S. Open next June at the Olympic Club, and we're working on sort of plan A, B, and C. A would be full-blown hospitality, crowds, spectators, etc. B would be sort of a moderated version, and then C would be players and maybe one family member, but no crowds. And again, we spoke the other day, and you said that the Solheim Cup, like the Ryder Cup, is so important to have the crowds there for the energy and the spirit, and it's not just on the 18th green for the final putt, but starting out with the very first group to tee off on the first tee. And you've been in that as both a captain and a player. Talk about that energy and excitement that is so crucial to a competition like the Solheim Cup.
Yeah, it depends on where you're playing, whether you're playing the U.S. or over in Europe. But walking to that first tee, it's electrifying, and you got the crowd, everybody's into it. They're singing their songs. Whether it's for Team Europe or Team USA, the crowd is into it, and it couldn't. I just don't see us having a Ryder Cup or a Solheim Cup without that. Whether you're a player, you're a captain, or you're a spectator, it's like I said, it's electrifying. And it's one of the best walks you'll ever have, is walking up to that first tee. And nobody wants to miss that. I mean, whether you're playing in those matches or not, you'll see the players, they're not sleeping in. They're on that first tee when all this happens. And it's, like I said, it's the most awesome thing that you can go through at a Solheim Cup. And
you almost wonder if that atmosphere isn't what got the 16th hole at the Phoenix Open the idea of that sort of stadium setup. And I know the Ryder Cup started doing it as well, but for the women that have been able to play on those teams like yourself, that's got to be like just a huge memory, and so different than any other event. It's definitely different than any other event. When you play, if you're part of a Solheim, you go to the next tournament, you go to US Open, you go to, any of the majors, I mean, those tournaments are huge, but here you're playing for your country, you're playing on, on Team USA, and you're playing for your the other players, you're playing for, like I said, you're playing for your country, and nothing's better than that. And the feelings that you get, you don't get that too often. And once you get that feeling, you want to keep repeating that feeling. And it's the best thing in the world. Like I said, it is the best thing in the world. For those statisticians out there, give us a little update on what happens with the captain picks. That's always, those that qualify is sort of a cut and dried thing, but talk about the Angela Stanford asterisk, and how the captain's picks will work for you. Yeah, so right now we've got eight
players will be off points, 2 off Rolex rankings who do not qualify with the points, and then I've got 2 picks. We're hoping to change that in 2021, just for 2021, because of everything that's going on. So, as of right now, let's just go with the 2 picks. The whole process of the picks is we have since I was the assistant in 15, 17, 19, we do a pod system, and we pick the girls. We do a personality test. We put the girls into the pods according to their personalities, and we have a specialist that comes in and helps us with that, and who would fit in where and what have you. And so, coming down to the end, I don't know when the picks will be. We haven't picked a date as of yet, but it'll probably be closer to Solheim. And the points will start shaping up where you can figure out some of the pods, and then you just have to kind of do your picks that would fit into the pod. So you want the best team available, or best team playing at the moment. So at the moment of Solheim. And so we just, like I said, we do it according to personalities and play. We do it, let's say in 19, we had 6 rookies. So there's no way we would pick a rookie just because we had so many rookies. And it's, it's a tournament that is tough to play in if you've never played in it before. So there's so many things that go into is involved in the picks that that you got to look at. We go to the golf course. We try to figure out the golf course. We try to figure out how many times you're going to be hitting into the greens. So let's say alternate shot. If you're hitting into the greens, let's say 12 out of the 18 times, if that's the way it falls. And every golf course is different, but if that's the way it falls, then you're going to have someone who's going to be putting a lot. So do you want a good, in those pods, do we have a lot of good ball strikers? Do we have, good short game players or what have you? So we kind of, there's a lot of figuring out before we make those picks. And it's, every year has been different. Not one year has been the same how we've picked them. Like I said, in 19, we had a lot of rookies, so we couldn't go that route. We needed more experience. In 17, we picked a rookie. I think we picked Angel Yin. She was, fit into the pod really well. In 15, we picked, Brittany Lang, I think was playing really well at the time, didn't make it in on points or Rolex rankings, so we picked her. And then Paula Creamer, we picked in 15. Actually, I think we picked her in 15 and 17. 17, she was in our envelope when Jessica Corda had to pull out. But, experience definitely helps in a situation like Solheim.
I think I learned something today. I'm just stunned. You mean golf is a mental game? I'm just stunned. I learned this today. Golf is a very mental game, it seems.
It's definitely mental, but it's the strong. We need the strong, and that's what us Americans are. We're strong.
That's great. How much do you get involved with things like golf tips, or are the coaches that players work with on site and you kind of leave that alone, or can you give advice on a golf swing? I know I always felt that a good caddy is sort of like your walking coach in if you've been with that caddy for a long time. How does some of that work in a Solheim Cup setting?
Yeah, so for us, captains, so the vice captains or assistant captains, we cannot give any advice. Only the captains can. So basically, Julie, the last 3 years would have been the one that if us as assistants had any saw anything or wanted to, we've talked to to the players, instructors, and they said, hey, make sure that so-and-so's not doing this, or make sure she's doing this, or, just kind of watch out for that. Then we'll kind of help out a little bit. But overall, they all have their own instructors. They all have their own caddies. The caddies have been with them usually for a little bit. Like you said, they totally understand their personalities, their swings, and they can help out quite a bit. And there's, again, there's situations where they say, hey, can you come watch? Then we can go watch. But we can, during competition, we really don't say much. We just let them play. And us as captains, we've got to figure out more or less, it's more about the pairings and who we're going to put together out when, and we have, certain deadlines to meet with that.
Let's talk about, let's have the folks here maybe learn a little bit about, I'm sure we have some golf instructors that are listening in. Something that you said when we chatted about Gloria Armstrong was that, one of the things that she said to you was, keep it simple, kind of do what you're doing. I've always felt that golf is such a thing with strong instinct that it's hard to make major changes unless somebody's going to put in, 50 hours a week. And golf students of ours aren't going to do that, unless they're, a college player that just has dedicated their lives to, being the next person on tour. But talk about a little bit of your golf swing theory and how you've kind of grown up, as a student of the game.
Yeah, I grew, when I started playing golf, it was, I was 12 years old, and it was more just my natural swing. It's not, someone else's natural swing, but it was my natural swing. And we didn't have the videos, we didn't have the TrackMan, we didn't have all that. So it was what was comfortable to me and what worked with me. And Gloria pounded in my head is to trust my swing. She says, the bottom line is you've got yourself into different, into positions to win golf tournaments, and you've won golf tournaments. You need to just trust yourself, and your swing is not, it's not textbook, and I'm okay with that. I'm strong enough to know it's not textbook, but you know what? It's Pat Hurst's golf swing. And that's what she always pounded into my head is, this is your golf swing, trust it. You got to go out and play with it. When you get under pressure, you're going to go back to the things that your swing does. And if you don't put in a lot of time, you've got to trust, and you got to know your golf swing and know what the ball does. And that's what she's always taught me. And she was very strong and made me strong headed in that situation.
Yeah, I always felt, I used Tiger Woods as an example when he went through all these different swing changes, that I said he was like an actor with multiple scripts, and he would forget his lines now and then, when he was trying to kind of go off key from what was his natural swing. So I think what you're saying it really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you just want to fine tune your swing, right? You don't want to make, it's very hard. Some people have made major swing changes, but it's really hard, and you got to be dedicated to do that. And like I said, when you're under pressure, it's, your swing goes back to what it knows how to do it, and how I know, or how I swing the golf club, not how someone else swings the golf club, and I may be looking at someone else going, oh, well, she swings it. I don't now because I'm older, but I used to get it past parallel, and Gloria's like, it's fine. That's your swing. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, you sure I don't need to shorten it? No. She goes, you don't need to shorten it. It's fine. And I'm looking at these other girls going, well, her swing is shorter, but you know what? That was their swing, and my swing was different than theirs.
Right. You mentioned starting to play when you were 12. It was mentioned to me yesterday that you played in the state amateur when you were 13 in the Pebble Beach area. And our current president, Dee Moriarty, then Dee Prongos, was your opponent, and Dee beat you. And I accused her of being a bully. So, because she's a few years older than you are, but that's here you inspired her as a person that she was an amateur at the time, goes on to become a PGA member and now president of the section. So it's really interesting how these little micro moments can make differences down the line.
Definitely, you don't realize it, but it does. So you got to be on. I wouldn't say you have to be on your best behavior, but you've just got to set good examples. And if you do that, then everyone benefits off that.
Last topic for Pat Hurst, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. The women's tour has had some very dominating players. Lorna Ochoa, and obviously Annika Sorenstam, and then others, the Mickey Wrights of the world, and that were all there. But Annika won 3 U.S. Opens, which is a big part of her career. But she had to get past Pat Hurst to win her last one in a playoff. Even though you didn't win that championship, being in a playoff with who was maybe then the best player in the world, maybe other than you, and taking her into a playoff mode, again, that's got to be something that's a huge memory for you and something you're very proud of.
Yeah, I'm proud of. It's definitely a tournament that I wish I had, but I don't. But what I have to say that it was, it's all an experience, and to be there to play. I think we were the last 18-hole playoff for a USJ event. It was golf is a lot of fun, and that was a lot of fun, and competing is a lot of fun. But to be able to go up against the number 1 player in the world and see where you rank, that is what it's all about. And like I said, I let that one. I wish I had that trophy, but I don't. But looking back, I will always know that I was that close, and this next week is going to be the U.S. Open for the women, and so I know how they feel. I know what they want to accomplish there, and I was really close to doing it.
Yeah, it's interesting that here you tie her after 4 days, and then okay, that's not enough. We got to go a little more, another day. And I've been a big advocate because I know that, having worked in the media and been on the management side of major championships, that going to that next day is just a real nightmare. And so it's great that the associations are now looking at different alternatives to doing it. I think the men's side, they have, maybe it was last year, they had 4 different concepts of breaking a tie after 72 holes. So that's kind of odd. Are you going to be traveling to the U.S. Open this week in Houston?
No, I'm not. My next event will be the CME, which is the last event of the year, which will be the following week. It's the last event of the year. So no, it's just too hard. They're playing, in order to get everybody in, they're playing 2 golf courses. And so for me to get out and follow some of the girls, it would be a nightmare for me to try and get out and follow, the girls. So it's one that I'm going to skip, and I'll see them at CME.
And back to your points list just for a moment. Has the LPGA done a kind of a rollover where it's now a longer point system, because of the COVID lockdown and missing some events?
No. So what the points, it just starts right. It starts the very next week after Solheim. So it started in 2019, the very next week after Solheim, and it's the points, the points in 2000 for me in 2021 will be worth 1.5 of what a regular season is, if that makes sense. And then majors are worth double of that. So let's say, first place would be 40 points in this year in 20. In 2021, they're worth 60 points. And then a major's worth double of the 60 points. And so, no, they haven't changed the point system. I know that they're looking at, giving me another pick or 2, and taking it off, taking one from the points and maybe one from Rolex. I don't know. They haven't made a decision yet, but I know Europe definitely, I think they're a different system, but I think she has, Katrina Matthew, I think she has 6 picks. And so it's we'll see at the end of the year when they start having their meetings.
There's probably a small number of people who will say, well, where in the heck did the Solheim name come from? Mr. Solheim, that started the Ping Golf Company right here in Redwood City, has been, lent his name to it over the years, and the Ping Golf Company has been big supporters of women's golf. And we'll give your family a plug. Your husband's worked for them for a number of years. So the Ping Golf Company and Solheim are very involved with the golf industry, obviously, and great to have their name attached to this wonderful championship.
Yeah, I mean, it started back, I think, in 1990, and Karsten Solheim wanted to have an event, a team event that was, going to obviously involve Europe and the US, and it has taken off. I mean, we're expecting 150,000 people for the week, for 12 players on each side in Toledo. So it's definitely taken off, and it's a lot of fun to be part of.
That's great. I think if either Caitlin or Len are listening, we can probably get into some Q&A now. And Pat, thank you so much. This has been wonderful reconnecting with you and chatting with you. And again, I mentioned my involvement with next year's Women's Open at Olympic Club. And you may hear from me again, and maybe get you involved with a Zoom call to our committee or such, and just to hear some of your history of that. And we're excited to have the Women's Open at the Olympic Club next June, and looking forward to that one. So I'm sure we'll have
thanks for
nearly
being
every one of your players there.
Yeah, and if you need help, just I'm a phone call away.
Very good. All right. And Len and Caitlin, do we have any questions stacked up here?
Thank you, John. Thank you, Pat. That was just tremendous. And I've got a couple. Pat, two, we'll take them one at a time. Commissioner Juan, I mean, having heard him speak, I mean, he just put his enthusiasm, his passion for the game, his passion for the LPGA Tour and the players and the expanding on a business level is just unbelievable. Having heard him speak in person, you just get pulled in and you just want to jump out of your chair and cheer with him. So tell us a little bit about him. He just is amazing, just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, I was on the board when we hired him, and he has from day one, he's been upfront and honest with the players, and I think that's like you said, he sucks you right in because of his personality, because of his enthusiasm, and he's got our backs. He's all for the business and growing the game, growing women's golf, and he's great. I mean, he's fun to be around. He's just an all around good guy.
And it shows. Pat, Pat, a question has come in. What do you see as the biggest challenge for the team in the Solheim Cup next year?
Angela Stanford? No. The biggest challenge definitely is the picks, but the whole process is a lot of fun, from designing the golf bags to designing the outfits, the clothing, from it's the whole process is a lot of fun, but I guess the biggest challenge would be the picks. And I think if you ask any of the captains, it's the hardest day when you have to tell some people no, because that sometimes you'd want 20 players on the team, but we can only have 12, and so that would be the biggest challenge. And obviously COVID. Hopefully this will be long gone. I don't think it's going to be long gone, but I think I'm hoping that everything is going to be open and we can have the fans and we can have the event.
Pat, as you've mentioned, you and John, that fan portion of it is such a characteristic and such an important trait of the Solheim Cup. Pat, what are the rules now, if there are yet, about access to? I know it's early. The event is August 31 to September 6 next year in Toledo at Inverness. What are the golf course access rules? When do you expect to start having the team out there to get to know the facility?
Well, it's funny. We don't really do. We will have a practice session the week of Highland Meadows, which is in Toledo. But overall, we don't really. If the girls want to go play the golf course, we'll set it up. Julie didn't have any of the girls go out and play any of the courses that she was captain of, and we do a team bonding, but it's generally not at It wouldn't be at Inverness. We're going to do it somewhere else, somewhere that fits into the schedule. You know, the girls, they travel enough, and to get them to go and play Inverness would be hard. And the golf course changes, you know, from week to week. And in the week of the tournament, who knows? You know, it may be fast and firm, and for the members, it's probably not like that.
Okay, Pat, and this one, terrific. Do you still play golf regularly, and do you still have the competitive fire?
I definitely have, you know, once you're a competitor, always a competitor, right? And I love playing in my skins games. I play once a week generally. Right now it's been on Mondays. I sometimes play Mondays and Fridays, but I want to get into, I keep saying this, and I'm not doing it, but I want to play more. You know, I stopped playing on tour 5 years. This is my 5th season. My mom was ill, and so it was time for me to be home with her for her last year. And I do miss the competition, but I don't miss the preparing for it. And I still have the competitive juices in me, where I do like to play. Like I said, I like to play in the skins game, and know that this putt might be worth something. Silence.
Yep.
Silence golden.
Silence, right. So
Well, we're putting, quiet putting.
Yes.
just
Mental
came in,
game,
just
remember?
one question, Pat. Cabernet or rosé? Oh, we're getting personal questions now.
Cabernet Rosé. Nope, it's all about Jack. It's my man on the road. Jack is. So Jack Daniels and Coke Zero.
Well, John and Pat, we can't thank you enough. I mean, having access to you both here in our section as section members is just tremendous. We've reached out to both of you a number of times, and you've been there for us, just saying, tell us what you need and we'll be there. So thank you for your time this morning. Pat, good luck. Let's start with the CME, you know, in 2 weeks at Tiburon in Naples. Good luck there, and certainly as we get closer to the Solheim Cup next year, we'll certainly be cheering. And let's hope we get some fans there, because as you say, that is just so important to the event.
Definitely. Yeah. Thanks for having us, Len.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. John, some final thoughts? You know.
That's it. I think this was great, very entertaining, and I learned that golf's a mental game. So I'm gonna work on that now. So Pat, thank you so much, and you're awesome. Great inspiration.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay, thank you both again, and Pat, on your selection as Solheim Cup captain again. That'll be August 31 to September 6th next year at Inverness in Toledo, and think about that, staggering 150,000 people for the week. Wow, just amazing. To Ian James and Michael Donnell, and for granting us the tools this morning to keep us engaged and growing as we move forward. Again, to our staff, just here in the Northern California PGA section office, the international headquarters, I might add, just a wow over the past couple days for everything that we've been able to put on the air in terms of the annual meeting, the awards, and today's education session. You are our section members, membership, our members, associates, and partners. Thank you for everything. We say it a lot, but this has been a very emotional year. It's been just a crazy year. And, you know, we've come together probably as no time in our industry. And it's everyone's tireless work and ingenuity during 2020 that has allowed us to thrive. We look forward to getting back together next year. I hope we can. We certainly have plan A and plan B. Let's hope we can stay with plan A. Congratulations to our 2020 Northern California Special Award recipients. A shout out to our District 11 colleagues, Tom Addison, Team Southern California PGA, and Wes Wailehua and Team Aloha as well. We just have a great district and compatriots. We'll pass along updates for California and Nevada regarding COVID, what we can and what we cannot, hopefully more what we can as we make sense of them, and that'll be the current state of affairs. If you've not registered for this, please do. Please send an email to Caitlin or Shelby. So that would be cdoyle@pgahq.com or szell, ZELL at pgahq.com. And please be safe, everyone. Contact us anytime. Happy holidays to all. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap for our 2020 Northern California PGA annual meetings. Until next time, thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.